Okay, this is Brittany Adams' persuasive speech. This is my audience, Jenny, Andrea, and Jeffrey. Good? All right. Children, after all, are not just adults in the making. They are people whose current needs and rights and experiences must be taken seriously. Alfie Kahn. Each of us have children in our lives that we love and care for. None of us would intentionally hurt a child or allow a child to be hurt. By understanding the topic of abuse, we can do our part in ending this turmoil in the lives of children. This topic is very near to my heart, as I had the unfortunate experience of dealing with this in the lives of one of my students last year. This unfortunate situation opened my eyes to things I might not normally see or recognize. Child abuse, a common problem in America, prevents children from living a healthy and productive life. God calls his people to value human life. His redemptive power is still active today. I'll validate this statement by discussing what child abuse is, ways in which we can prevent child abuse, what the Bible says about children and abuse, and how to live life as God intended after abuse. Let's take a closer look at this important topic. Child abuse is an epidemic in America and is defined by the federal legislation for state laws as any recent act or failure to act on the part of a parent or caretaker which results in death, serious physical or emotional harm, sexual abuse or exploitation, or an act or failure to act which presents an imminent risk of serious harm. Every year there are more than 3 million cases reported of child abuse. Approximately 6 million children are affected by this. With that statistic in mind, about every 10 seconds a report of child abuse is made. More than 4 children die every single day from abuse. Approximately 80% of those are under the age of 4. Child abuse occurs at every socioeconomic level, across ethnic and cultural lines, within all religions, and at all levels of education. So how can you and I help stop child abuse? We can stop child abuse by talking to our children or students, recognizing the signs of abuse, and reporting any suspected abuse right away. Ask questions such as what happened, when did this happen to you, where did it happen, and who did this to you. Do not investigate on your own. Do not ask leading questions. Do not report it to those in authority over the child or any parties involved. You should, however, be supportive, provide a safe place, always document direct quotes from the child, and be honest. Some signs of abuse include the child's constant fear that something bad is going to happen, a child who's always anxious, waiting for something bad to happen, reluctancy to be around certain people, unexplained bumps, burns, bruises, cuts, etc., sudden changes in their behavior or performance at school, and if the child actually discloses it to you. Certainly this is a short list. Every child that experiences abuse is affected differently. They react in different ways. To report suspected abuse here in North Carolina, you as a teacher or caretaker should report it to your supervisor and your school counselor. Also notify the Department of Social Services. God values human life, especially children. God commands us to value human life as well. We are to take a stand when we notice the wrongdoings of others, according to Proverbs 24:11 and 12, which says, "Rescue those who are unjustly sentenced to die. Save them as they stagger to their death. Don't excuse yourself by saying, 'Look, we didn't know.' For God understands all hearts and he sees you. He who guards your soul knows you knew. He will repay all people as his actions deserve." The Lord tells us in Psalms 127 that children are a heritage from the Lord, the fruit of the womb a reward. Which brings me to my next point, living the life that God intended after abuse. Abuse does not have to define children. They are more than that. Think about Joseph's story from the book of Genesis. Abuse and betrayal were a large part of his story. He was falsely accused, sold into slavery, and sentenced to prison. He was later released and became leader of all of Egypt. As the story comes to an end, Joseph saw his brothers again, and he did not seek revenge. Instead, he spoke of the glory of God and told them that what they meant for evil, God meant for good. God used Joseph's terrible situation to later save his family from famine. Joseph didn't minimize what had happened to him. He certainly acknowledged the evil that his brothers had done to him, but he made sure to give God credit, and his story was bigger than the evil he suffered. God was at work the whole time and brought good out of extreme evil. In summary, child abuse is a growing epidemic. You and I can help prevent this tragedy by talking to our children, recognizing the signs of abuse, and reporting the abuse right away. The Bible says children are a reward, a heritage from the Lord. Abuse doesn't have to define children. Our God is always at work and can bring great victory from our deepest hurt. Value the life of children. Take a stand if you suspect abuse. Don't wait. Their life depends on it. I encourage you to talk to your children or listen to the children you work with. Pray daily for them, keep your eyes open, ask questions if necessary, and be their safe place. Always allow these children to live life as God intended, not as the evil of man intends. Chris Whitty says, "It is important to talk about it. You raise awareness, but you can also prevent it by not letting it be a secret." Thank you so much for listening and have a good evening.